Hello, wow, I cannot believe that it is October already in 2025, but welcome back to the James Ramblin' Reviews. For today I have something fun and interesting that's interesting to me for me to review, because today I'm reviewing for you Alien Earth. Now, if you're wondering what that is, and I've got a picture of like the actual show in the background, like I went on to Disney Plus on my TV and did it as like a background, a backdrop, so it like fits in with the review. So what this show is that it's the latest series that came on to Disney Plus. It aired for 8 episodes straight. The final season aired. The final episode aired, I should say. Sorry, ran last week, and it ran onto the TV last week. And now all 8 episodes are fully ready to watch. So there is that. But I'll give you a bit of context about Alien, because Alien, the franchise, is one of the strangest franchises I've ever watched. And yeah, I've said this before in previous videos, but there is a few Alien films that I enjoy. Like, for example, the original 1979 film, directed by Ridley Scott, one of the most iconic films for film history. It just really defined the genre. It was the first time they ever did it. I liked Alien 2 and, Alien 3, Alien 4, what is this? Prometheus. It took me a couple of watches to get into, and Covenant I didn't mind, and all of that kind of thing. And then Alien Romulus came around, I enjoyed that. And then when I heard about how they were going to do a show, it's like, yeah, we've had enough sequels and all of that to the films, and we've had Alien vs Predator, so it's time to really get ourselves into like a series of it. So I'm not going to try and spoil everything, but I will mention a couple of things about how I personally felt about the show here. But what you need to know is that this show is pretty much set about how there's this idea about these characters on a ship, like the alien concept itself, right? But these characters, there's these guys behind the scenes, there's something strange going on, and they have to figure out how it's all going to turn out, basically. But then the whole goal is that this whole thing, like this plane crash, or this ship crashes onto Earth, and then there's a whole investigation on this island where there's some strange things happening, there's some things lurking about, and they think that there's some bad guys on the loose. So that's pretty much how I would describe the show. It kind of gives you that description when you look on Disney Plus about how there's like an alien, there's an Earth, there's chaos about to happen, really. So there is that. And so what I will say, first and foremost, I'm going to be honest here. I know I really did glaze and overpraise and just praise the living heck out of Alien Romulus last year, but I will say, for what this is going for the fact that it's not directed by Ridley Scott, for the fact that it's a completely different sort of idea, sort of way to tell the story while being familiar, it really does land the plane for the Alien franchise. It gives you what you want out of an Alien show. Sure, I will be honest, there's a few times here where I'm like, oh, this is a bit slow, the characters, the way the story's playing out, it goes a bit slow. Then it really does pick up in the end, where I just binge watched like a few episodes the other day there, binge watched the last of it last night, and I can confidently say I enjoyed the show. I also do enjoy and admire Sydney Chandler in this series, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, the way she just has this performance that's exciting to watch, and she is pretty easy on the eyes indeed, I'm gonna say that right now. But yeah, she is a fun watch to see her play, how she plays that character, and how she has these powers with like the alien, because the xenomorph, they think that there is a point in the show, right, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm just giving you a natural experience here of how I felt, but when it gets to the point where they think that Sydney Chandler, the actress, the character's called Wendy, they think she's behind the scenes, she's the bad guy, but she's able to communicate to the xenomorph and all that. I thought that was cool, because there was a couple I don't really remember if the Alien franchise characters had this sort of thing, but they had like these kinetic, energetic powers in the series, and it was so cool to see the way they would use these powers to take out these people. And then there's this one guy that's like being suspicious, and there's like a goat with gaumy eyes and crazy looking eyes and all of that, and there's a lot of stuff in here where they just went for it, they were up for it, and they just gave you a show where you were just excited to see what happens next. And honestly, that's what I would say about the show. It's not a masterpiece, but for what it's going for what it's trying to do here, it does give you an experience that you're actually looking for in an Alien show. So yeah, there is that, and then when you get to the end of the series, it does leave you on a cliffhanger, but then it keeps you interested. It makes me want to see a season 2, baby. It really does. This was an enjoyable watch, and how there was that towards the end of the show, you do see how everything plays out and things of that nature. So I did give a spoiler about, you know, Sydney Chandler and how she has powers and all of that, but there's also just a few other things where if you watch the show you'll know what I'm talking about, and I didn't want to spoil it because it's a recommendable watch here. Usually I only spoil something if it's been out for ages and eons beyond ends of time and all of that, but this has only been out, this just finished wrapping itself up about a week ago, so I just thought let's just go a bit spoiler free on this one. And so what I'll say is, I'll give this show about an 8 out of 10. You know, the first episode was really slow, the second episode picks things up, there's a few episodes where it drops off and slowly meanders, but I like that the show finds its way to come back in the end, because there's some shows I watch where, because they drag themselves out a bit too long and they take a while to really pace everything properly, to really give you that flow and that style you're looking for, sometimes you get bored out your gut and you just don't want to watch it anymore. But with this show, it just does something pretty interesting, and it completely gives you that experience you're looking for. So yeah, honestly, that's how I felt about Alien Earth. Let me know if you've watched the show. Let me know if you're interested to hear, you know, my thoughts on future things like this. You know, do you want to see another TV show episode type of discussion video like this, or do you want me to go back to the normal movie reviews? Because the cinema shut down the other day, by the way, the Cineworld cinema, so I can't really go out of my way to do movie reviews. Sure, there is another cinema that I go to called The View in St Enoch's Mall, but the thing is, I have to watch my time with these sorts of things before I go to work, so there's a lot of things like that. But let me know in the comments if you actually are interested in seeing a bit more stuff like this, a bit more discussion pieces on a TV series because of those certain reasons. And I did cancel my subscription to Cineworld because it shut down. So yeah, stay tuned for more reviews like this one. Hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for more of this one, and it has been a pleasure, because in space no one stops watching my videos, because I've got that fun energy to me, good passion, entertaining videos non-stop. So yeah, bye.